So thank you guys for joining us on a special episode of the Zach and Matt Show. And we're going to be interviewing Sola and Fred the Felon from Truckers for Yang. And why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little about yourselves?
Hi.
Ladies first.
So thank you very much. So I'm Sola O'Brien, and I first met Fred when I ran the fundraiser in Detroit during the Detroit debates for Andrew, which ended up being awesome. It was kind of crazy. We organized it in less than 10 days. And Fred just picks up the phone and he's like, "What do you need? How can I help?" You know, and he's starting to call people from the road and reach out to organizations. And, you know, I spent a lot of sleepless nights working on the fundraiser, and so did he. So, you know, we really appreciated each other's hustle. And my background is in digital marketing, event production. I run my own consultancy, BTO Solutions, build brands from the ground up and help them build a powerful presence online. And what we'll be doing for Truckers for Yang and for Andrew is making sure that the brand is as powerful as possible, as relevant as possible online and in real life.
And Fred?
Hi, guys.
Well, my name is Fred Ramey, and we were able to come up with a trailer for the truck that I'm driving, and it's the Truckers for Yang trailer. As she had mentioned, we met through the Detroit Yang Gang event, and the event went really, really well, and we just really work very, very well with each other. Our communication style is very similar. And so we have the truck and we go all over different places, particularly the debates. And what we're trying to do really is get the name recognition for Andrew out to the nth degree, 1,000%. That's really our goal.
Yeah, for sure. Besides you guys, who else is behind Truckers for Yang helping you guys out?
We do have a tech team. And so I actually, there's just like a ton of tech people. So we have a tech team that's, front end and back end development on the website that we're going to be, unveiling very, very soon. So, and then there's other people as well. Go ahead, Sola.
Yeah. So I'm part of the tech team. We're working on launching the website right now, actually. And you might recognize some of their names because they're Yang Gang, just like we are. So one is Sujit Janesh. He's working on an app that will track Fred across the country. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have a little Fred, just like Andrew has a little Yang,
a
little Andrew face. So you're going to be able to see Fred go around the country and follow him, especially like when we decide to do activations, community outreach in certain locations, which is super cool. So we're working on launching that right now. Another person who's working on it is Brooke Lee. She is Yang Gang as well, based in Arizona. So she'll be supporting the front end development, like the design of it. We also have Ted from Yangstream. So he's going to be pitching in where he can with tech as well. We are looking for some additional support with launching the app on the site. So it's an Android application. We're just kind of looking for a couple of senior developers that can jump in and wrap it up in a few hours. There are a couple of bugs we need to work on.
Okay. If there's anyone in the audience watching this who would have those kind of skills and would be interested, do you have any contact details so people could reach out?
Of course. They can contact me directly. I'm Sola, SOLA, at truckersforyang.com.
So what do you guys want to tell us about the Truckers for Yang Super PAC?
Well, no, go ahead, Sola.
Okay, so it's TFY PAC, which stands for Truckers for Yang. And we launched it on Tuesday. So very fresh, very new. We just opened up our ActBlue page. and a bank account. So I mean, it's really it's exciting, but these are the very early stages. So TFY Pack won't necessarily have an online presence because it's specifically for funding truckers for Yang and our activities. So we decided to launch it because it's going to be the easiest and fastest way to fund the truck. The truck hasn't been paid for yet. We ran a GoFundMe, but because of kind of a political regulations, there's a lot of bureaucracy regarding financing. We decided to run to go with the pack instead, so that we'll have to raise that money again for the current truck, Fred's truck that's already on the road. And our goal is to have 15 more of them.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
a whole fleet of trucker for Yang. If I saw that going down the highway, it would get my attention. You
guys should definitely plan some kind of cross-country trip.
Definitely. That's also where the maps come in, because the drivers will have their little faces as well on the maps. You'll be able to see when they're congregating in the same location.
Yeah, and in terms of cross country, like you were saying, we already had William Lexham and Gift Shinobi in the truck with me for multiple days, and the videos that they were able to shoot were phenomenal. Obviously, you guys saw some of them maybe on Twitter, just little bits here and there, but they're going to be doing a documentary about an unlikely grouping of William Lexham and myself and Shinobi. And it really, that's one of the storylines and the vision behind Truckers for Yang is to be able to bring people together, and like nobody else does but Andrew. Yeah. And so this is kind of the boots on the ground and how we actually get people that prior maybe you wouldn't see in the same room together. And what we're going to do is we're going to do different outreach programs, both in inner city areas, and then we're going to also have outreach programs maybe in rural areas. So the goal here really is to have the will of the people and what the will of the people want, not necessarily what me and Sola want. And the tech team want. So we're always trying to read the will of the Yang Gang.
Certainly.
And we're open to any and all suggestions in terms of if things are the will of the people, and go in that direction.
Yeah, we're also looking to, what we will be doing is we'll be contacting activists and people on the ground in these communities, and we'll be finding out exactly what the community needs. So that will also drive our community outreach activities. So we've had some ideas. So we've talked about concerts. We've talked about doing 1,000 turkey giveaway, but that might not be what the community needs. So we're gonna talk to people on the ground who live in those communities, and they're the will, right? So we're gonna follow their will, the will of the people.
Yeah. So it sounds like basically whoever the fundraisers ultimately end up being, that you guys are going to be very open to their ideas and getting the community involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. What are your fundraising goals to make sure that you can hit all these reach all these projects, make sure you get all the trucks up and running, and all of that?
Yeah, so our fundraising goals, they're aligned with our hard goals, our tactical goals, which are specifically getting the next 5 trucks on the road by the end of this month. So in the next 3 weeks, we want to have 5 more trucks on the road. So each truck costs $10,000 to wrap. But we also have something unique that we'd like to offer to high-level donors, and that is naming rights. So they will essentially get to have pick the images, have their name on a truck. So high-level donations, large donations, will have that option. But in general, for our raises, we're still going to fund the trucks either way. You know.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing this both through the grassroots, like we were able to do with the GoFundMe. We, as you may know, so the GoFundMe was funded, like fully funded in like 8 or 10 hours.
Yeah.
And so we're actually going to be we're in talks with GoFundMe right now. We're going to actually be refunding that money, and then we're going to be shooting just a heart-to-heart video that will be attached to that, saying, "All right, let's have a heart-to-heart. This is why we're going in another direction, and this is why we're going in another direction." So for those of you that don't know, my background, I have been a trucker for a year and a half. But as a sales and marketing person, and I've done sales most of my life, and what we were able to do with the GoFundMe and some of our salesmanship that we were able to pull off is to convince someone to wrap the trailer for us, a good friend of ours, and then obviously we need to get that person paid for the work that they've already done, and then also we need to fund the additional trucks. In terms of what she was saying about large donors, not only would the large donors kind of have some creative idea in the truck that was their truck, right? But for example, let's say they gave 50,000 or 100,000, whatever was left, they could put together and have a creative say in terms of a event that we want to put together, and their name would be attached to that event. So
and to add on this too, so the donors are obviously going to be individuals and entities that are not perfectly, but aligned directly with Andrew's policies and what he stands for.
Yeah, it's going to be all grassroots, all through Act Blue.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Mm-hmm. Correct. So the difference with our Act Blue and Andrew's is, like, if I haven't given at all to Andrew, I can give a one-time of $2,800. With us, there's not a ton of limitations like that. And then on top of that, we really want to get the will, like we said, we want to get the will of the people involved. And we want to really, really boost name recognition. And we feel, based off of we've pulled the data on the name recognition that we have been able to garner with the truck. And we'll talk about the power of the truck here in a minute. Mm-hmm. But what the truck has been able to do, and just Sola's salesmanship and my salesmanship, is pretty remarkable in comparison to other things in the market.
Yeah, you really are a Yang Spore. You got the data.
In terms of the data and the Google Analytics, and we can see how many clicks we're getting in terms of. So we just really felt that based off of, and just to talk about the power of the truck, and it's something where obviously you guys know me, and you know that I talk a lot, and sometimes I can't help myself in talking. This just the zeal that I have for Andrew Yang, his policy positions, the freedom dividend, Medicare for all, and human-centered capitalism. But the truck says so much while I'll be sleeping in the cab, for 8 hours or whatever, right? Or I'll park the truck and I'll go into a Walmart, but the truck just continues talking and saying things that are so pure and so incredible, and it says more than me or Sola or you or Zach could ever say.
Yeah. It's pretty much like a walking billboard. And I think that if you saw something like that and you see that not even like the campaign, just some random supporter decided that they liked a politician. Well, Yang's not a politician, right? But liked someone so much to literally wrap their truck around with his logo and everything. Like, it's very attention grabbing. In terms of the truck's impact, because I know there's probably a lot of people, they've maybe maxed out Andrew Yang, and they're looking for ways to help the campaign outside of donating more because they can't. And that's where projects like with what you guys are doing would come in. And I just think in terms of what the truck can do, like personally, I've seen you guys parked it behind Beto O'Rourke's, what is it called? When you end your campaign, what's the speech called? Whenever he ended it,
farewell.
Yeah, his announcement that he was dropping out.
Yeah.
Fred, you parked that thing right where all the cameras got it, and that's gonna just be played on every single news show because it's breaking news, and it's just a advertisement for Yang, and that's just one thing off the top of my head that I can think of for the truck. But continue.
Well, I do want to throw in though for Beto people that was not planned. We love, and if for any of you, we're super active on all social media. So like, let's talk, let's talk about the policies that Beto has that are aligned with Andrew's, and let's just talk to you about also what you're passionate about and policies you're passionate about. And I'm sure we can find Yang Gang would love to have you.
Yeah.
Yes. And really, when you think about it, like, I think the two things that really, to kind of pile on to what she's saying, the two things that really stick out to me is Beto went up against Cruz, and Andrew has an open invitation with Ted Cruz for a basketball game.
Yep.
So I think that is huge. And then Truckers for Yang, and we didn't try to do this. I mean, I saw a set of cones that I saw a lane that was open and a set of cones that was being cut off, right? And I saw a police officer, and I looked out the window and I pointed to the police officer and I said, I need to park there, right? And it was like down the street, and he was like, oh, I'll radio down right away. I got you.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised. Another thing with the power of this truck is when people see it, even with law enforcement, this truck is so incredibly official, right? And they are just like, yeah, go ahead, do whatever, like we were able to go down into San Francisco, and San Francisco is a kind of a hard place, to find parking.
Yeah, for sure.
We were able to go down there, and we were just very, very well received by the police, by the parking people, and they just really, really love what the truck can do,
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, can I get a picture of the truck? Can I get a picture? Can I take a picture with my mom in the truck?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's the truck is like a literal, like it's almost like a celebrity,
Yeah. I think you have the best ride in the entire country. So I would love to see
don't dispute that. Yeah.
15 or 20 more of those on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, well, by the way, I wanted to throw out a little shout out to Yip Zone, right? So this guy on subscribe to Yip Zone. He actually did a Fred the Felon, Truckers for Yang skin, right? On a trucking simulator video game.
Oh, that's funny.
And then he did a road to Yangapalooza, where he cut all the different places that we went. So he started out in San Francisco and it ended in Des Moines, and he put all the different videos that I shot, that Gift shot, Gift Shinobi, and that William Lexham shot, and he put them in little corners and pulled stuff off of my YouTube channel. Like, it was flipping amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, just the amount of love that we have received from the Yang Gang is, I was telling my mom the other day, I was like, I have never felt so, just so motivated, because we being Sola, myself, and the tech team and others, we have so many people that are like pushing us forward, and that are giving us energy and giving us vision, that it's almost impossible for us not to just totally succeed. One of the things I like to say to people is there's no lack of money out here in the world. What there is a lack of vision. And so me and Ted talked about this before, where people are willing to open their wallets if they know where is that money going and what is it going toward. So if Truckers for Yang ask someone for $50,000 or $50 or $100,000, the rules of the market don't change. We have to provide $50 or $50,000 or $100,000 with the perceived value for that money. And we believe, based off of the research that we've done and the data that we've pulled, that we're able to provide that value regardless of if it's $50, if it's $50,000, if it's $100,000. We're able to provide that value, and we're willing to prove that in the days to come.
You make a good point with how a vision kind of unites people and gives them something to get their heads up about. So what is your grand vision for Truckers for Yang, and what activities can people expect to see in the near future?
So the grand vision is a couple things fold. First of all, we want to boost name recognition. How many times do you guys talk to a lot of people about Andrew Yang?
Most people I interact with.
Yeah, we've already yanged everyone we talk to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so, have you ever ran into somebody and you're like, "Hey, have you ever heard of Andrew Yang?" And they're like, and Sola, you can answer too. Have you ever just ran into somebody and they're just like drawing a blank?
Who's that? Or, oh, that's the guy that wants to give everyone $1,000 a month.
Definitely have gotten that second reaction before, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like who's Andrew Yang? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things we want to do is just make it completely unmistakable that people at least know, like Grant Cardone, Gary Vee. These are guys that that mentor me, that guys that I listen to, that say basically the number one rule in sales, what we're selling is votes, right? The number one.
We're not selling votes. We're encouraging votes, right? They're going to give us their votes. Yeah.
Correct. But they have a vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have what we're trying to persuade people to vote in our direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the number one rule in sales is get attention. People cannot buy from you. It's a little impossible. People cannot buy from you if they do not know who you are. So in the same token, people cannot vote for you if they don't know who you are.
Absolutely.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. And just to mention attention too, with the 16 trucks on the road, and the data that we have shows that attention is going to look like with reach on social media and on the ground combined. We're looking at a reach of millions of people.
That's awesome.
So speaking to attention, that's the kind of attention that we're going to garner from these trucks, and we'll provide the data.
Okay, so you would like make public how the projects are working and what type of results they're garnering?
Yep.
That's awesome. Complete transparency. I think people like that.
You're going to get complete and total transparency. Like, for example, I'm putting I'm putting my heart out there and telling people, hey, we haven't paid for the truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe normally somebody might be embarrassed by that fact, right? But I have no embarrassment about the fact that we want to do the thing. We want to do the right thing for the right reason at the right time. And we feel that creating a super PAC is the easiest, most ethical way and the most grassroots way to get goals that the Yang Gang have in mind and that the will of the people have expressed to us accomplished in the shortest, most efficient way possible.
Yeah, I just want to speak on something for a sec. I saw someone wrote that your truck, Fred, was probably the greatest grassroots fundraising success in history.
Oh, wow. I don't know about that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big claim, but someone made it.
That's quite a compliment.
That's quite a compliment and quite a claim.
Yeah.
And we all have lofty claims. Like right now, I'm starting a campaign that Andrew Yang is the greatest of all time. Right? I've been saying that everywhere
I saw that at the San Francisco rally.
Yes, but I've been saying that everywhere I go. And keep saying it, right? and then actually, I got to Dover in New Hampshire and I was late, right? And he was wrapping up. And then I got to talk. The great thing about New Hampshire, too, is it's so small that you get like that one-on-one with Andrew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can't have one-on-one time, you can, if you have the courage to just go up and talk to Andrew, you might get a few words in. And he said to me, he said, keep saying that because I was thinking about it the other night. He was like, I might have to be the greatest of all time to get everything, everything solved, in terms of, the problems that are in Washington. And so, that's a great, whoever made that claim, I don't know who made that claim about the truck, but thank you.
Someone on Twitter.
Wow.
Twitter is an easy way to make lofty claims.
So what do you guys say is your philosophy behind community outreach?
Oh, philosophy behind community outreach?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fred likes to say it's us. Go ahead, Fred. What's the quote that you said? The powered by us?
So I like to say that we have a mantra, which is we powered by we, right? Not I powered by my, right? And so whatever the will of the people is, that's what we want to do. And so we found that when the frustration comes in scenarios is when the will of the people or the people feel like they're not empowered. And so when in my comings and goings within the going and seeing Andrew Yang and doing different things, one of the things that I've heard people say, we should do this or we should do that. Almost immediately I say, okay, let's do it. right? And how can we plug you in? And how, and then that's when the cream always rises to the top, right? Because, and thank you guys for, you guys are taking out a lot of time out of your day to come up with and you guys have a lot of reach within the Yang Gang. So I thank you for doing that. And if I could really just encourage if you have a big idea in the Yang Gang, one of the best things you can do is just get started on that idea right away, and then other people will come alongside you, and it's just infectious when you start. William Lexham, he started the street art, out on the streets, right? And then people started coming, right? Or in LA they were doing the overpass thing and the overpass in different areas, right? So what we really want to embody that leadership where in the community, when somebody says, hey, we want to do this, or hey, we want to do that. Okay, great. Let's make it happen, right? And there's really two types of people that I've run up or I've run into rather. Is either people that need things or people that want to help. And so we want to employ both of those people, right? Like if there's a group of people that need things from Truckers for Yang, we want to stand in the gap there and to make a difference. And if there's people that want to help, we want to give those people an avenue to help. Because if we're just being honest, the campaign is so incredibly focused on doing nothing but getting him elected, right? And they're growing at such an insane rate. And the Yang Gang is actually growing at an even more insane rate.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is an opportunity for the Yang Gang to get involved in something that they may not be able to have something hands-on with the campaign other than your normal canvassing or making phone calls. We still want people to canvass. We still want people to make phone calls.
Definitely.
Because that's how we're going to win.
Yeah.
But there's not just one way to win. There's tons of different ways to win the battle here and fight in the battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Grassroots are incredibly important. They're vital for us getting Andrew in office. And what we want to do is empower thousands of leaders. There needs to be thousands of grassroots leaders taking on these different projects, doing these different things on their own steam, pulling in other Yang Gang to support that vision as well, but also empowering even them too to be leaders. We're going to need thousands of leaders to get him into office.
Yeah.
There's so many people already doing projects.
Yeah.
If we can find a way to create a structure that empowers people to find these projects independently, support these projects independently. They might not even be enrolled in a Yang Gang yet. They might be the only Yang supporter within a 5 mile radius or a 10 or 20 mile radius of themselves. We're going to need to find a way to empower them. That's part of our plan as well. One of our strategies is to go into rural communities, low income, Black communities, and see how we can support the activities that are already happening. Because I guarantee you, in the vast amount of cities and counties in this country, people know who Andrew Yang is, and there might even be unsupported Yang Gang leaders in those cities. So we want to go into those cities and we want to ask them what they want. That's what they need. That's what we mean by will of the people driving our activities.
We're kind of taking a page. Yeah. We're kind of taking a page from Venture for America in this way. So the trucks really are going to be our main kind of our main source of output.
Yeah. It's our key initiative.
That's our key initiative, correct. But there are going to be so many other things that are going to be coming out in the future. And then in the general, like this is really going to be the happy time, right? And the fun time. But once we get into the general, that is when the gloves are going to come off, and you're gonna see the Fred that is so hyper focused on winning the working class back to the Democrat Party. So that's an issue that we have identified that is quite problematic, and it was a vacuum that Donald Trump was able to. He saw it.
Mm-hmm.
He was very methodical. People think that Donald Trump is an idiot. Donald Trump is no idiot. He is no fool. He knew exactly what he was doing. And if he didn't, whoever was advising him knew exactly what he was doing. He was able to, to get that vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And really activate those people through anger and fear and the scarcity mindset, all while he's living in total flipping abundance.
Yeah. Speaking on that, I think like in both parties, I think just people are tired of the establishment right and the establishment left. And that's one reason I think people are so attracted to Andrew, because he's a complete outsider, not in the system. So, and touching also on what you guys were talking about with on the ground operations, I love that so much because Yang already owns the internet. He dominates Twitter, dominates YouTube, everywhere. So where we need to focus is those on the ground operations and going into those communities that don't see, the people that aren't on social media all day. They don't have time to be on YouTube all day. So
yeah, there are key population segments too that are not, and this is more of the strategic, the data that we are currently assessing. So there are key communities that we need to focus on that are not being spoken to yet. And like I mentioned earlier, there are the urban communities, there are the Black communities, particularly Black women, and then there are also there are many disenfranchised people, right? People that they don't even vote because they feel like they don't matter and they don't count. So they're completely disengaged. So those kinds of populations, we really need to speak directly to.
Yeah.
Ex-cons, for instance, feel disenfranchised to vote, even though a lot of them can, So we need to, there are many segments that we need to talk to.
Yeah. And I know I see so many people who support Andrew say they hadn't paid attention to politics in 20 years or whatever, and now they're more active than they've ever been, which just speaks to how powerful his message is and his ability to inspire people. So yeah,
that's the energy that we definitely need to have and to communicate and to inspire. We want everyone to get connected back to. We want people to believe that our country is for them. Our country does care about them, and their vote does matter.
Yeah.
So what would you guys say is your timeline for getting this next group of trucks on the road?
Yeah, I know you guys said 5 by the end of this month is the goal. What about the other 10 or so trucks?
I think by the end of the year would be fantastic to get all of the trucks out. By the end of the year, 15 trucks. We understand that that's a big vision and that's a big goal, but we are confident that we can hit that goal, especially before everything ramps up at the end of December, during January. We really want to maximize our visibility before then in order to make sure that awareness of Andrew is as high as it can possibly be.
Yeah. Quick question for you, Fred. Do you know about Yang Week? I think it's like January 6th to 11th. Are you planning to be involved in that?
I am, yes, in some capacity at least.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah. So
I was just gonna say, if you guys had all 16 trucks up by the end of the year, you'd be able to have those running through Iowa during Yang Week, and I just think that would make a huge impact.
Yeah,
So,
Iowa's a big part of our planning, and we definitely want to have a high visibility in Iowa in the month of January. With the
yeah, and then also when the debates come, right? We are so incredibly disruptive, and I mean that in a positive way, because if you're a Republican and you're on the Trump side of the street and you're out there with your Trump signs, and there's a big trucker coming through honking the horn in the middle of town, and there are all kinds of different supporters of all kinds of different Democrat blue variations over here on this side. All you see is this truck, and did you see not one negative person in Ohio? I mean, didn't matter if it was blue or red, if it was the establishment candidates or some of the fringers. Like, everybody is like honk honk, and everybody's, even if they have a sign that's not Andrew, they react positively.
Yeah.
Which I think is very telling of what people want to believe, that the little people still matter. But and Andrew talks about this in his stump speech when he goes to Iowa and New Hampshire. He actually says that people know in these other states that the pipes are clogged, and they're just clogged with money and not people, and they're clogged with bureaucracy and not leaders and ideas. And he says that you here in Iowa or you here in New Hampshire, your vote actually matters, and people get a feeling in other parts of the country that their vote doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that he really implores to the people in those several key 3-4 states that their vote can actually have an effect on other people's votes in other states. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, let's just be honest. A lot of times what we see is a herd mentality when people are voting in Iowa and New Hampshire, and by the time Super Tuesday hits, people are looking at the first 4 states looking up and saying, okay, who should I put my vote in for, just out of, the top 5 people that are left standing.
Mm-hmm. And I think not only that too, I think this is also where representation matters. People need to see people that look like them, loving Andrew and holding him up and being yang, in order to see that they are one of the segments that Andrew loves too. That they mm-hmm. are, that there's people just like them that are extremely passionate about him, and they should be passionate about him as well. That takes them one step closer, So representation is incredibly important, and that speaks to the herd mentality too, right? So
yeah, and one of the things that we really put an emphasis on is the fact that we are so incredibly diverse in thought, but not vision. I mean, give me any campaign that has the diversity that it just doesn't happen.
It's non-existent.
Yeah.
It's non-existent. Yeah, I mean, you have like kind of like a country boy, from Missouri, that now lives in Arizona, and a first generation
Nigerian. Yeah.
Nigerian female.
Yeah.
That's not happening in the Biden administration. I'm sorry, it's just not.
No. It seems to me that each candidate kind of has a specific demographic that they appeal to, and they each are taking a different demographic, whichever one that fits them. While the Yang Gang literally has Trump voters, conservatives who didn't like Trump, libertarians, disaffected people who didn't even have any opinions really on politics, and of course, independents, progressives, and Democrats. So,
yeah.
And I feel like we normally, and I think Yang is doing a huge favor for us, that we are picking up the torch and continuing on. Is what we want is all these groups have their guns and their knives out, so to speak, not literally, right? But they're pointed at each other, right? All we're asking is, and Yang is asking people to put their guns and knives down for just 5 minutes to let him talk, and then that you could pick your guns and knives back up, and instead of pointing them at each other, point them at the people that are responsible, like Washington, and the people that are clogging the pipes, the lobbyists, the deals that have been struck already. It's just you're not in them, all that stuff.
Point them to all the systems that don't work for us.
Yeah.
Point them towards those systems. Let's attack that, and let's start by voting.
Yep, that's the most important thing. You gotta vote.
Yeah.
Get those votes.
Sorry, I cut you off, Fred. Go ahead.
No. It's everything you said was perfect. I mean, we literally have to get a lot of times I tell I go by Fred the Felon because I am a master coach and motivator for addicts and felons. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at getting men to just basically grow up and own their own stuff. But one of the things, and I don't know where I was going with that, but one of the things that I really think that we as Yang Gang are able to do that no other gang is able to do, or no other candidate supporters, is we would normally, if you took Yang out of the equation and Yang Gang out of the equation, we normally would be arguing over the stupidest, dumbest crap, right? That just doesn't, it doesn't really amount to anything, really.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the question that we're answering is how do we unite working class Americans and disenfranchised Americans behind Andrew Yang?
So one of the things that I want to, I can't stress enough, is to give to not only the campaign but Truckers for Yang, and especially your max donors. We are going to win this fight with Andrew, and we have a specific plan, and you are included in that plan. And we, just to be as upfront and as frank as possible, we need money in order to make these plans come to fruition. And we will be 100% transparent with you on what we're doing, how we're spending the money, and you will get a clear picture from us on where the money is being spent. Every step of the way, I was going through Twitter and saying, hey, what kind of graphics do you like? Do you like this graphic better? Do you like that graphic better? You know, and going through the company that was doing the graphic arts and stuff like that. By the way, shout out to Wizard Way, which is the company that I contract with. Wizard Way, exactly. WIZZ, two Z's, ARD, Way. They actually provided the trailer. And so they provided the trailer, and all we had to do is provide the wrap.
Yeah.
So, big.
And shout out to Vega as well.
Yeah, and then Vega Design, the gentleman that did the artwork and the wrap itself, phenomenal artist, and he's literally done $1 and $2 million cars for like oil sheiks in other countries, like super high end. Yeah, super high end work. Some of the stuff that he's done, and he's one of the best in the country. So, but yes, we need people to give, and then also we're really good at recruiting and finding out the right people for the right position, right job, or and if you see me at an event and you know somebody that wants to make a contribution, or you think that they might be able to have an effect for Truckers for Yang, feel free to reach out to me like right then and there and say, hey, point this person out, and I'll go out and get their phone number. I will, I do. That's my job. My job is to get votes and to get money. I have two jobs, and so does she, right? We have two primary jobs: to get votes and to get money.
Yeah, to raise awareness in order to move people towards the polls. Yeah, encourage people towards the polls. Yeah,
correct. But those two things again are to get votes or get money, right? And money gets votes. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Money gets awareness, and awareness in turn, and community outreach that will hopefully result in the votes that we're looking for. Yes.
Yeah. You guys have definitely sold me. I want to see 16 trucks on the highway, so I'm going to make a donation myself.
Oh wow! Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
But really, it's also to just inspire all the viewers to also donate. I love what you guys are doing. Transparency.
Can you donate?
We love what you guys are doing too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
But I also wanted to say, so we love Yang Gang. We are Yang Gang. We're a team. We're a family. We're a community. Let's get this. Let's support one another, no matter what, and let's get Andrew in office.
Absolutely.
And in closing, Andrew loves us. I know for a fact. I've seen it. Andrew loves us. So if there's ever a question, is this something that Andrew would want, right? No matter what anybody tells you, in the media or in a meeting or anything, I know Andrew. I've seen him at least 25 times.
You have a very personal relationship with Andrew.
Yes, and this brings a smile to his face, and this is what Andrew wants. This is the reason why we are doing this, and really give them a good way to get a hold of you, Sola.
Oh, so, well, first I want to say that Fred's relationship with Andrew is very personal. They're friends, but there's no communication regarding what the campaign is doing and what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Andrew's never said explicitly, do this. So like Truckers for Yang was all birthed from conversation that Fred has had with Yang Gangs. And this is very much a grassroots initiative.
Mm-hmm. No scandals.
He hasn't told me. He hasn't told me to do this. I've just seen the smile on his face.
Yeah.
Once I did.
He just loves it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He loves it.
No FEC violations.
Who wouldn't like the Truckers for Yang?
Yeah, big old fatty truck with your name on it.
Wizard way.
Who wouldn't love that, right?
Yeah.
So anyone can get a hold of me, Sola, SOLA, at truckersforyang.com. Also on Twitter. You can DM me. My DMs are open. And that's SOLAO. So my Twitter is SOLAO. My email address is sola@truckersforyang.com. I'm typically very quick when regards to Twitter because it's all real time. And with emails, I can probably get back to you within a 30-minute to an hour.
Okay.
All right.
And then our Twitter is, or my personal Twitter is felon_Fred. I like to give my phone number out just because I drive so much, and I know it drives people crazy, but don't let it trigger you, folks. It's 602-750-8751. And again, that's 602-750-8751. The Twitter is felon_Fred. And then our Truckers for Yang Twitter is @TruckersForYang. And the PF and Y are all uppercase. And then my email is fred@truckersforyang.com.
And really quick, guys, for anyone who's concerned about Fred giving out his number, I'm one of you, but he won't listen. So let him do his thing. Yeah, let this one slide, guys. Let that one slide.
Yeah, you're gonna have so many people calling you, Fred. So thank you for everything you've done.
He likes talking to people.
Trust me, if I listened to everybody or anybody, the truck would not be on the road. You know what I mean?
I mean, in terms of being transparent and giving the community a voice, there's really no better voice than giving everyone your phone number. So.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So guys.
Oh, I don't know. I was going to say really quickly, for the leaders watching this, which is every single one of you, don't ask for permission as long as it's not something that can get you arrested. You know, on behalf of Yang Gang and with the energy and in the spirit of the energy of all of us, you know, go out there, kick ass, don't ask for permission, and get the word out about Andrew and his policies.
Yep. So once in a lifetime opportunity. Get this man elected.
Yang Gang.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that concludes tonight's show. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I also think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So two things: donate, and then the other thing is donate.
Our hands. Put the money in 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 our hands. Can we afford it? Yes. Will it cause inflation? No. Is it awesome? Yes. Is anyone trying to make it happen? Yeah, that guy.